What's up, guys? This is Casey and welcome back to the channel. So today's your stimulus update package for August 11, 2020. And I want to keep this brief, so let's just kind of hop into this. So Steven Mnuchin on Monday was quoted on CNBC as stating that he believes that an agreement between the Democrats and the White House on a stimulus package could come this week. Now, this is in spite of the executive orders that President Donald Trump issued over the weekend. He was quoted as saying that, "I think there is a compromise if the Democrats are willing to be reasonable." He said there are a lot of things that they still need to do, but that there are most of the things on the agenda that they've agreed on. Now, while he did not disclose the details on either side's positions, Mnuchin did say that if the two parties meet, he does believe a deal could be hammered out by the end of the week. He was quoted as flat out saying, "If we get a fair deal, we will do it this week," which implies that they do plan on having some continued negotiations. Now, on the same day, Monday, Trump issued a couple of tweets. He tweeted that the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, quote, "want to make a deal," unquote, on a corona stimulus package. He was also quoted as saying on Twitter, "So now Schumer and Pelosi want to make a deal. Amazing how things all work, isn't it?" unquote. And then he was quoted as saying, "Where have they been for the last 4 weeks when they were hardliners and only wanted bailout money for Democratic-run states and cities that are failing badly?" And then he stated, "They know my phone number." So it basically appears as though that as of right now, the president and Treasury Secretary Schumer, they're taking a very hardline stance to where they do not want to go to the Democrats because they believe they have the upper hand based on the executive orders. So both Democrats and White House negotiators, they have said that they do want to continue negotiations for another stimulus package. That would be somewhere between $1 trillion proposed by the Republicans and more than the $3 trillion proposed by the Democrats. Now, Senate Democratic Minority Whip Dick Durbin of Illinois, he stated, "We are ready to meet the White House and the Republicans halfway." And he's flat out said, quote, "We've said that from the start." Now, in addition to what Trump outlined in his executive measures, the package could still include the $1,200 stimulus check that everyone has been waiting on, in addition to the payroll protections, loan programs, and everything else that the president has been encouraging get initiated. Now, Trump did announce at the Bedminster, New Jersey Country Club Saturday that he was postponing the payroll taxes, which we're aware of. He was extending the federal unemployment benefits of $400. He was waiving the student loans, and he was also helping people stay in their homes by postponing the moratoriums. Now, there's just one thing that's getting in the way of having an additional package approved this week. And do you know what that is? That's the fact that now Mark Meadows, who's part of the White House, the chief of staff actually, is out of the office. He is going to be out in August in the middle of a pandemic and in the midst of an urgent negotiations, while roughly 30 million Americans are still unemployed, and many of Americans have had their income cut by 50 to 75%. Now, the reason this is very important is because Meadows is one of the main chief White House people that have been initiating the negotiations between the Democrats. He's been the main person next to Mnuchin. And so, because he's out of office, although we may have a deal done this week, that's really going to all be dependent upon whether or not Mark Meadows is involved in negotiations. And that's a little concerning because I'm not sure that we can have serious talks while the White House chief is out on vacation. Now, I think the real question is, I'm not exactly sure why the White House chief decided to take a vacation when we don't yet have a deal done. It could probably be because he's very confident that we've at least stopped the bleeding because of the executive actions that the president initiated over the weekend, and so he feels that he has some time. There have also been some reports from Forbes.com that has stated that the reason that Mark Meadows took vacation is because he believes that the White House has the upper hand and that the Democrats are going to have to come to them in order to initiate a deal, because as of right now, if they attempted to block the executive orders that the president implemented over the weekend, that it would make them look very poorly, and therefore they believe they have the upper hand. And so, yet and still, it appears as though that both sides are still playing politics, which is what they do best. And as of right now, they're really using the American people as leverage for their probably election campaigns and things of that nature. And, I think at this point, I think it kind of needs to stop. We need to get a deal done. We need to get something passed. And hopefully, Mark Meadows is having some negotiations take place so that we can get this completed by the end of the week. So I do want to tell you guys to hang in there. I know this has been very tough. but at least we have had some of the bleeding stopped. Now, with the executive orders, I just hope that they come to the table right now and hope that we can get a deal done so that we can get the not only the stimulus package approved, but that we can probably get the $400 or $500 unemployment extended and get all of the other measures employed as well. Not to mention the $1,200 stimulus checks. So really looking forward to it. Like I said, as of right now, it appears as though that the Republicans are willing to negotiate, but they're playing a very, very hardline stance. They have a $1 trillion deadline, $1 trillion hardline stance, and they don't want to move a dollar on it. And I'm not sure that they're going to, because they have the ACE card with the executive orders that the President Trump implemented. And so they just flat out said, yeah, we are aware that, our $1 trillion is a hardline stance and we're not meeting you in the middle, but you're going to have to meet us because we have the leverage with the executive orders. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Democrats do to kind of counter that, because if they don't really counter it, then they're going to just have to basically cave in and attempt to sign a deal with what the Republicans want. So that's that. Today is your stimulus update package again for August 11, 2020. If there's any additional news or any surprises that come down the pipe with any last minute approved deals, I obviously will make sure to update you guys and announce the details on the channel. So if you haven't already, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you guys like the video if you like the content. This is a financial education channel, but as of late I've been doing a lot of the stimulus update videos because I want to make sure you guys are kept up to date, and there seems to be a lot of confusion as to a lot of the details. So if you guys haven't already, please make sure you also check out my last video that outlines the executive order details. It goes in depth in terms of what the President implemented, and also the details as to what those mean for you. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll check you out on the other video. Take care.